Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, your sanctuary with retreat experts, where we spill the tea on retreat success. Here we dive into craft and transformational guest experiences, talk about how to avoid pitfalls, and unlock marketing secrets. Whether you're a seasoned guru or a budding enthusiast, we've got the inside scoop for you. Join us as we learn how to flourish in this magical world of retreats.
Hey guys, welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. This is Shannon, and today I am so lucky because I have one of my dear friends and just an amazing human being. Welcome, Casie Hall, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shannon.
I am so excited that you are here. Casie and I'm going to let her tell you about herself because she'll probably do a way better job than I will, of course, but she's a dear friend of mine. We have kids that are the same age, or at least within an age range that we met. Noe and Paige are the same age.
They're the same age, yeah.
Yeah. And then she's got a younger daughter, Quana, who's close to my other daughter's age. And so we've kind of met through that first and then realized that we had such alignment in our passions and what we do and who we serve. And so Casie and I have worked on a lot of things together. She teaches here at the ranch quite often. She's one of the best yoga instructors I have ever had the joy and privilege of working with and being around, which is also why I invited her to be a co-creator in our equine yoga training, which we will talk about some more at the end. So Casie, don't let me forget, but welcome. And can you just tell everybody a little bit more about yourself than what I already did?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of as Shannon said, I'm a mom. I'm a yoga teacher. I opened a studio in 2016 in Spicewood, Texas, so just down the road from Retreat Ranch. And it has been really kind of a culmination of a lot of my passions. So I was a classroom teacher for years prior to getting my yoga teacher certification. I actually got my master's degree in education and thought that I was going to go back and potentially get my PhD to teach about teaching. That's one of my passions. Had my own kids, decided I didn't want to go back to the classroom with teenagers for sure, or middle schoolers. And it's like, I'm going to do this yoga thing. And so it was pretty soon after that I opened the studio. And in the meantime, my husband and I also opened a couple restaurants. So I have a little bit of business prowess from that as well. So maybe even call myself like a serial business owner because I've got new businesses starting up all the time, trying to dial that back a little bit as you, I think, have as well, kind of like what can we do well versus how can we do too many things all at once. And so, small business owner, teacher, yoga lover. I've been practicing yoga for, I'm going to age myself a little, but for well over 20 years, we'll call it. So I just absolutely love the practice and I love teaching the practice and teaching about teaching the practice. So those are really my passions. In the meantime, I've also led several retreats. My first retreat was in Mexico and Southern Baja. And I worked with a partner on that one and have kind of consistently done that international retreat with the exception of the COVID years. I took a break. But when I discovered Retreat Ranch and realized I can do what I love with retreats right by my home, right by my business, it was a partnership made in heaven. So
amen on so many fronts. Yes, and all the yeses. Everything I have seen Casie do has been an absolute dream and just really so cool to watch. She's obviously a serial entrepreneur, somewhat like myself, I guess. We're very similar that way as well. I will say that I got to enjoy one of her restaurants, and that was also absolutely fabulous. Has had one of my most favorite gluten-free pizzas ever. So what she does really, really well. And one of the things that you do, Casie, that I was ecstatic when you asked or talked to me about it the first time was a mother and daughter retreat. And mainly, I was ecstatic for a few reasons. One of the biggest ones is I was asked all the time, did either I or someone that I trusted, did I know someone that was doing a mother and daughter retreat? And I would always be like, I didn't know anyone. And that's really not my strength. I don't have that kind of skill set, if I'm being super honest. And so when you told me, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so excited. But I know that also comes with its own little kind of basket of fun and challenges. So tell us a little bit about your mother and daughter retreats and like what the challenges and the beauties are.
Absolutely. So this will be my third one coming up, and I'm actually hosting two this year because it has sold out, and it's almost sold out for May. And each year it's sold out by February for this. It's usually the weekend right after Labor Day, which is kind of that sweet spot. Most kids, at least in the South, are out of school by that point. But at the same time, it's not when summer camps are starting
I
up.
think you meant Memorial.
I meant Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do that all the time. My birthday's over around Memorial Day. You would think I would be able
Mine
to get it
too.
right. But yeah, that's right. We share like one day apart. So yeah, it really is, I think that it is one of those retreats. It's very niche. There are not very many or really any in the US that I've found that are all similar. The only one that I found that's similar is in Australia. And the leader of that retreat and I have talked about swapping and trying to experience each other's retreat. But it is something that is, I think it's so needed. The age range is kind of the tween to teen range. So we start at age 9, that's the youngest that we allow, all the way up to age 17. And it is a narrow range, but we found in the first year that we went as young as 7 and it was just too young developmentally. And even 9 is pushing it, but I have a conversation usually with the parents of the 9-year-olds. I'm like, listen, there are going to be 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds here that are having some of these more mature conversations. What are you comfortable with? What is your daughter comfortable with? And would you call your daughter a more mature 9-year-old or less? So those are conversations that are had, but we've really honed in on that age range. And it is a time as mothers and, as a mom of daughters, where we can lose these girls. They start to, we lose that somatic connection around age 10, give or take, that, where we truly are sharing cells still. And I felt that tangibly with my daughters. And I feel this and see in other families sort of the separation that can happen. So the question becomes, what can we do to maintain and foster a connection with our daughters without hovering, while continuing to facilitate confidence for them, to let them be independent and be their own person. But no, we're here, we are here. And then 2, as moms, it's so difficult for us to do that when we're cooking and we're cleaning and we're maintaining a business and we're taking care of everybody and everything else. And so the idea behind this retreat is to give the moms a chance to be childlike in their own way, to be as they were when they were those ages, yet still be in the role of mom without having all the work that bogs us down. So we have a ton of really fun activities that mothers and daughters partner together with, some of it yoga related, some of it not. One of the activities that you led last year that was one of my favorites and will absolutely stay on the schedule is candle making. I was like, candle making, okay, how cool can that be? So cool. Like there's so much to it that you integrate that makes it amazing. So that and the horse painting and being able to interact with the horses, we have different modalities each year. Last year, we worked through the chakras. This year, we're going to be looking at the 8 limbs of yoga. And next year, we'll work on the koshas. So I weave some yoga philosophy in. There's definitely some movement practices. And then there's also free time for moms and daughters to explore the beautiful property that you've created.
Hey guys, it's Shannon. If you've been dreaming about hosting retreats or taking your existing retreats to the next level, let's make it happen together. Join me August 22nd through 24th for an unforgettable retreat leader mastermind experience. It's going to be located on my ranch in the beautiful Texas Hill Country. Here's what you'll get when you hang out with me and an amazing group of like-minded leaders. Learn my top strategies for marketing, business operations, and selling out your retreats. Connect with other passionate retreat leaders in a high-vibe, supportive circle. Recharge, relax, refresh, and soak up all the inspiration our ranch and our staff have to offer, because you deserve it. This isn't just another workshop. It's a chance to step fully into your role as a heart-centered leader while building a business that thrives. I'll be right there with you, sharing everything I've learned from the years of hosting retreats and running my own venue. Spots are super limited, so grab yours now at profitwithpurposemastermind.com. Let's create retreats that transform lives, starting with yours. That's profitwithpurposemastermind.com. I can't wait to see you there. Oh, of course, you know I'm biased and I love everything about this, but I truly will say, we on the back end at the Retreat Ranch, when we are staff and the guests of a host, so your guests are popping into our store or into our office, we get feedback from them. 99.9% of the time, they're just raving, and then there's the one-off that we'll get some I've had, but most of the time they're raving. Your guests, Casie, are coming in and they're like, I cannot believe this. I can't wait to do it again. Like, they're absolutely ecstatic about what they are experiencing with you and what they're experiencing with their daughters or with their mothers. And you're so intentional about the agenda. I mean, it is, to me, it's just beautiful what you've put together, the agenda and how it flows and the activities. And so I just wanted to say that for anybody listening, that not only is this a much needed retreat in general, but it's such a beautiful one. And everybody that has come comes into the store or into our office and just raves about it. So just a little bit of kudos for you. Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, there's always challenges. So what would you say are some of the challenges when you're hosting this mother and daughter retreat and what you've learned from it?
Absolutely. So, I mean, as you know from leading retreats, every time you do it is a huge learning experience and you adapt. You don't look at it as a failure. You look at it as, oh, now I know what not to do next year. So, certainly one of them was saying we've got to have the youngest age be 9. That was a challenge the first year that we did this retreat. Was some of these kids are too young, and it's not a good fit, and it didn't flow as a result of that. Another element is, I would say, the first year I had this, and even a little bit to an extent last year, I had this idea that, well, the moms are going to want some time on their own. So the first year I allowed them to book a massage, and it really threw the schedule out of whack. And they don't need a massage when they're there to be with their daughters. That's not part of the intention. So I extracted that pretty quickly. And then I kept a moms only yoga session on Saturday morning and had the daughters do just a kids-based session. And, the intention behind that, I think, is really great, giving the daughters a chance to connect with each other and create relationship there. Same with the moms. But in hindsight, I've taken that out for this coming year, because it really is about moms and daughters being together and getting as much, because it really is a pretty quick retreat. We're there 2 nights, so we get there early-ish on Friday morning. And then guests are invited to stay as late as 4 p.m. on Sunday, but it's 2 nights, it's only one full day. And so I've taken out those separated activities and just had everything be where the moms and the daughters are together, because that is the point.
That is such a good point, because when you're thinking about it from the surface, you're like, oh, that sounds great to add a massage in, or, oh, that sounds great. But they can really do that anytime.
Yep.
Right? They can, at home, you can get away for an hour or two. Yeah, it might be difficult, but you can go get a massage on your own, or you can go do a yoga class on your own. You're right. Literally, I'm like over here going, duh, like in my own head, because I would have thought the same thing, Casie, to be honest with you. I would have thought, oh, that sounds great. Let's have a class just for the moms or a class just for the daughters. But I love that you looked at this and said, one, it wasn't jiving with the schedule. It was throwing everything off. But also, it goes back to what was your intention in the first place of the retreat. So I love that so much. I will absolutely have her info linked in the show notes so that you can check it out and ask her questions and maybe come attend her retreat. Bring your daughter and come attend. Or niece. Maybe you have a niece that you're super, super close to that you want to bring. That's totally fine, I'm sure. Or granddaughter. I'm sure, as long as the daughter falls within the age limit and you're wanting to have that connection with them. I'm so excited that you met someone you said Australia, and how cool would that be to
so cool
swap retreats? That would be so neat. I love that. Yep. It's time for some business research. Now, I just want to chat just for a little bit to switch bases on you, because another amazing program that you do and that you do here at the ranch is the equine yoga training. And so tell us just a little bit about what that is and more information where they can find it and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So you can find information about it on my website, which is nectarflowyoga.com. And you can I have it linked up across the top pretty readily through several different options. So it's easy to find once you land at Nectar Flow Yoga website. It is an incredible program, which I have to give really all the credit for coming up with the idea to you, Shannon. You reached out 2 years ago and said, let's do this thing after I had practiced it. And Casie, our other partner, had taught it multiple times. And, I come in with a pretty rich background in the yoga element. And so I'm like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. And
Yoga
since
and
then,
teaching. Sorry, I
yoga,
didn't mean to interrupt.
exactly, yes. And so I really did want to dive in head first, and I have fallen in love with just the practice and the teaching of equine yoga, which I make the joke, and I've written a blog about the fact that people hear this and their first reaction is like, oh, is that like goat yoga? And haha, yes, no, it's not. It's not at all like goat yoga. Goat yoga is its own thing, and I'm not going to knock it, but it really is a bit gimmicky, if you will. And who wants to get pooped on by goats? Like, goats do not have this magical presence. Love them. They're precious, but they are not intelligent beings in the way that horses are. And the horse-human connection is something, it really is something else. And for us as humans to be able to get the feedback that we get from a horse partner, whether you're riding or even just, working in a stable, there's so much communication that happens, as you well know, the co-regulation and, the senses that are kicked in when we're around a horse. And so we use that in the equine yoga experience to kind of tap in to ourselves, to ground ourselves, to connect with our breath. And as teachers, it's just another way to really hone in to this idea that yoga is connection. And so as a result, we've created this teacher training program. There is also an online training program. You do not have to be a yoga teacher to take the program. If you simply want to learn more about yoga and learn more about horse yoga, this is an online self-paced curriculum that's accessible through my website. If you are a 200-hour yoga teacher, then you are able to take the full certification, and it offers 55 CEU hours through Yoga Alliance. You walk away with a certificate to teach equine yoga, and then you also get to take part in a really awesome in-person retreat that is happening May 1st through 4th. We have another option in December as well. But the upcoming one, May 1st through 4th, I think there's only 2 spots left at this point. So we would love to fill those 2 spots with some awesome people. And you've plenty of time between now and May to complete the online curriculum, which is about a 30-hour curriculum, just depending on your background.
Hey, it's Shannon here. I'm just popping in really quickly to ask a big favor. Would you pause the show and go review it for us? Please. Reviews really help us to be able to get more guests and more experts on the show to help you transform your retreats. So if you wouldn't mind pausing and leaving us a review, that would mean everything. And if you're not already subscribed, do that too.
Yes, of course. Once again, I'm a little bit biased. I absolutely love equine yoga and everything about it. And I will say Casey's giving me a lot of credit as far as designing our program to a certain degree, at least introducing it to her. But when Casie teaches it, y'all, it is really fucking magical. Like, it is magical. And if you are at all close to Austin, and I'm talking it's worth the drive, if you are not even, if you're a few hours away even, it's worth the drive. She does teach here every month. It's the only public class that we offer, because normally you can't do anything at the ranch unless you are an overnight guest, but we do offer this. And Casie, if you just want to shout out what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can also link up to that on my website. It's generally the 3rd Sunday of the month at 2 p.m. You essentially sign up and show up, and you get this amazing equine yoga session. You plan for about an hour and a half all in, just because we often linger and love on the horses a little bit longer and so on. But it really is a great way to experience the practice. We start out just with groundwork, essentially partnering with our horse and practicing poses, breath work, and so on in connection with that horse partner. After you've done your first session, then you're invited to mount and practice on horseback. And I think a lot of people hear horse yoga and they're like, what are you doing? Handstanding on a horse? I'm like, no, this is all very, very simple. It's really more about that connection than it is about any posture, which, to be real, that's what yoga is as well. It's not about the postures. It's about the breath. It's about the connection. It's about your internal experience.
Amen. Hallelujah. I love this. Well, you can find out more about Casie, about her retreats, about her equine yoga training program, and just everything amazing that she has to offer at her website, which will be linked in the show notes. But she also told you it's nectarflowyoga.com. So, Casie, thank you so much for being a guest and being just an incredible human being.
Well, thank you as well, Shannon, for being incredible and for all the vision that you've put into the Retreat Ranch and to the leadership you're offering to retreat leaders, because we need it. And this support and guidance is incredible. Your book, all of it. So thank you for having me, and thank you for being who you are.
Thanks, love.
Thanks for listening to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. Learn more at www.theretreatranch.com. See you next time.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.